Okay guys, well here's a story for you again with the wonderful Black & Decker DeWalt's or whatever, it is a DeWalt, but I wanted to change the bit, and again bit's locked up in there, can't get it out, so I have to turn to the Ryobi. You know what, I lost all faith in DeWalt, especially for the money. They should be charging less than a DeWalt, than the Ryobis, because their quality is less. I was talking with somebody about it the other day, and they said that the DeWalt's not bad as long as you don't get them wet or have them in a damp place. Well, what good is that? So, alright, I think that's okay. I'd like to go a little bigger though, but I want to make sure before I start drilling holes that I'm not going to hit anything on the other side. So, but again, like I say, whenever I put a bit in that, that's basically the bit that's going to have to stay in there because you can't get it out when you need to. You know, and that's the reason for the quick chuck. So you're looking to change things quickly. Can't do it with that one. So, alright, let me get some wire. I brought out some red wire, I think. Alright, now, let's see what we have here. So now, if this is where I think it is, this is the only hole that I am going to need in this whole firewall. So I'll make it a little bit bigger. I'll put a grommet on it, and I'll put one of those push rings through it. So whatever I push through it, it locks up on it to keep the moisture and water out, if you know what I mean. So basically it's like a rubber with a hole in it. So when you push anything through it, it kind of forms around it. Alright, that's where we're at. So you're not going to actually see too much in there, but there's the alarm horn. And the lights are hooked up. Well, the wires are hooked up. The alarm horn is hooked up. And the, let me get that up under there. And the siren is hooked up. It's right there. So, and the wires are all run on the driver's side up under the dash to where I can get them with plenty of leftover. Now, I started this about 11:30, quarter to 12. And it is now 14:17 on the East Coast. And it is a nice day, to be honest with you. It's really not sticky or anything. It's actually a pretty nice day. So, now I don't know exactly how much I'm going to get done. I got to go through all these wires over here. First, I want to move these head units. For now, get the GPS out of the way. Because I got to be able to kind of go through these wires without screwing things up. And I want to kind of neaten them up at the same time, if you know what I mean. Because they'll catch on everything naturally. It's like a hose. You know, you're trying to water something, you got your hose out, there's nothing in the way. But for some reason, it finds something to hang on to and screw you up. You know what I mean, guys? You know exactly what I mean. So, now not all these wires have to go up through the dash. Let me untangle some of this spaghetti mess here. And I'll kind of tell you, or show you what I'm talking about here, for those of you who may be interested. For those of you who may be interested. So meanwhile, one set of these wires belong to the Yaesu 891. And another set of these wires belong to the Yaesu 400. So one is an HF rig and the other one is a 2-meter 440 rig. And right now they seem to be all hooked up into one big radio. So, but I figured there's no sense me untangling them all in the beginning, only because I'd be doing it again anyway. So I figured, you know what, let me just wait, and when I'm ready, that's when I'll do it. Now some of these wires, like I said earlier, are not going to have to go up under the dash. And this flat ribbon wire, or the flat black wire, that you may or may not be able to tell the difference in the mesh right now. One more and we're done with this one. One more knot. One more loop and we're done. Okay. This particular wire is for the microphone. So this doesn't have to go up to the dash. This can go anywhere where I want to plug my mic in, as long as the mic will reach me, you know, once I plug it in. So it can actually just go on the doghouse someplace, and it doesn't necessarily have to go up inside the dash, unless I wanted to. So that would be that one. So let's just throw this one to the back and keep it unraveled. Now there's another one of those here for the other radio. This is actually a control wire. So this has to go to wherever the head unit is actually going. So that one's going to have to be snaked up through the dash because that's where the heads are going. I got one more of those here somewhere. I'm working on it, guys. Okay, I think I got that one. Maybe not. Okay, this is a control wire as well. So that's got to go to wherever the head unit's going to be. And this is the other mic wire. This is for the Yaesu 400. Now they will plug in to the back of the head units, the microphones. So if that is what's going to be best, that's what I'll do, and I won't need to use those two wires that I just threw out there. But I will have to use these two wires guaranteed, because these are the control wires, like I said earlier. And where I'm putting them, it's a strong possibility that I won't need. Well, you know what? I'm going to need to. Yeah, I think I do. Because if I remember right now, they do all plug into there. Okay. Let me get the head units for a minute. I'm thinking on the 400, I think the mic plugs into the back. No, just the head unit. Okay. So I do need them both. Yeah, just a controller. Okay, so on both of these, I do have to run the external mics. So I'm going to have to put them someplace. And I'll probably put them over there on the above the switches on that other, above that pocket, that gray spot right there. But on the side, I may put them over there. It's not a big deal for me to do that, actually. And the big boxes at the end unplug, so if I do have to drill a hole, I'll only have to drill a hole small enough, you know, to put something like that through it. So that's not a big deal. Alright, so let's go to the front. Let me put those up there. Let's go to the front and I'll show you what I'm thinking about doing here. Let's get those up here, because these wires are going to have to get snaked from here up underneath up underneath into the dash, and up. Now the problem that I'm going to have, which is not a big issue, but it's just going to take a little longer, is to get the wires from point A to point B, but right there, going from there to the back next to the gas pedal, because I don't want to stay near that doghouse, because if the doghouse ever has to come off and there's a mechanic working on it and not me, I don't want them to be screwing around with my wires. So I got to go under the seat, under the mat, up next to the gas pedal, so that I go on the inside of that, and then up under the dash, and that's where I'm going with it. So I don't think it's going to be a big issue, but let me show you where I'm going here. Give you an idea what I'm talking about. Let me get this wire out of the way, otherwise I'm going to forget it. There. Now here's the wires that are coming from under the hood. And these wires, that's the alarm wire, so that goes to the horn. The other side is to a ground, so I don't have to worry about that. And then the power line is for the lights, which is going to go to that switch over there. And what the hell was this one for? Oh, the PA horn. So, okay, already I forgot what the hell I'm doing. Alright, so, I'll get my ass in here. And the bigger the van, the more room I need. Okay, so here's what I plan on doing in here. This is on snaps, and I have it on snapped right now, so that's not a big deal. There's a pocket right here. Now, I never really use these pockets. So, I drilled a hole in the back of this pocket so that the wire can come up through underneath all this and into that pocket, plug into the back of this radio, and this radio is going to sit right there. Now it's not going to stay there right now because there's nothing holding it, but that's where that's going to be. Now I was thinking about just velcroing it, but when it gets hot and it being up near the dash, the velcro tends to get a little gooey. So the best thing to do, I guess, is just going to be at that point putting the bracket in. So I have two brackets I can use, and I'm thinking of using the longer of the two. I have this bracket, which I can bolt this in there like that and screw the head unit on the back of it. And it'll also give me a room, if I want to adjust it, I can. But at that point, that's where that'll be. So that'll be that bracket. The other bracket is this bracket that actually comes with the radio. And that'll go there. You know, and then I can screw that bracket in and put it there. Now that'll put it tighter. However, it's going to make it harder for me to get the screw in the back. So, you know, it's kind of like, what do you do here? You know, they're both good ideas, but the longer two, this one will definitely make it easier for me to get the screw in behind it than that one would. And that one will make it a little bit more flush up against the dash. So that's where that's going to go. And again, what the hell was that for? Oh, external GPS. So that can be there. So that's where that one's going to be, basically. So it's either going to be there or out a little bit. But basically that's it. So either tight or about an inch behind. So that's where that one's going. Now the HF, the 891, because I do have to get to the top buttons as well, but it's also a lot narrower. So I can put this one right here, using, again, the long bracket or the short bracket. I bolted up underneath this time and screwed it on so it'll sit like that. So now I have the use of that radio with no problems. I would have to bring it over here a little bit so I can get the plug in it, or drill a little hole so I can put the wire through it, and that would probably be what I'll do. Holes, like I say, they don't bother me too much as long as I'm using it for what I need it to use for. When you take it off, yeah, you know what, you're going to have a hole there. But, you know, it's probably going to be there for as long as I'm going to have it and whatever, so I'm not going to worry about it. I buy a vehicle for me to use for the way I need it to be used. And if it means a hole, that's not a big deal, you know. And if I want to buy a vehicle, you know, to ride around and be king of the town, well, then I'd buy that vehicle and I wouldn't do anything to it other than just drive it and park it in the garage. You know, park it way out in the back next to a vacant lot someplace when I go to the store so nobody bumps into it. And then they'll go back there and scratch it anyway because I parked it way back there and I had it and they didn't. So, you know, that's the way it is. So, but anyway, so that's going to go there. And the other one's going to go up there. Now, I was thinking of putting the A400 down there and putting this one up here. But the 400 has a GPS in it. So I'd rather have it higher so that it'll work with the GPS much faster and better and more accurate than if it was down here. So that's what I'm up against. That's where I'm going. So for now, I just got to get this out. I got to bring that wire down under the seat, under this carpet, up behind this, up there, underneath the, well, alongside of, but underneath the gas pedal, up in here, and then up underneath here, so I can get to it. So, and then you know what I noticed when I had this out? There's actually behind this is just like a coin holder. This right here. Oh, I got a dirty lens. Well, believe it or not, there's a wire back there plugged in. I don't know what for. Is that a jumper wire of some sort? Is that a wire for something, for another accessory that may have been here, you know, instead of this? And that's what I'm thinking. You know, it was probably, you know, another feature, you know, another accessory that may have been an add-on accessory that would go here. And that's what that wire's for. So that you would take this out, plug that in, and plug the wire into it. That's the only thing I can think of. Alright, let me get some water and let me start running some wires and I'll be right back.